But Dad, isn't it time for illegal ham in the face? But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys, Fatty, and Big Bry.
Dun, 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 dun. What's going on, big fella?
Hey,
everybody, welcome into another show of Illegal Ham to the Face. I am that fat guy, and I am always here with Big Bry. What's going on, big fella?
not much. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bud. It's been a good week. We get rained out at the golf course. We got like 16 inches of rain in a matter of like 5 days. You know how that works.
Nice and green.
Yep, makes it nice and green and moist. One of the favorite words that we like to say.
Really?
Oh, I saw the shiver. Hey, Brian, what's a 6-letter word that gets me excited?
Hot dog.
There it is. All right, here we go. Now we're starting to show off. Jake has been running that with me. I'm like, go ahead, say those 6-letter words. He goes, hot dog? I'm like, no. He goes, burger. I'm like, no. He goes, cookie. I'm like, wow, you are coming up with a whole bunch of different words now. And for the behind the scenes joke is we would always get an option day. Our boss would give us an option day if we would get rained out. And he goes, well, I'm giving you the option. So 6-letter word gets me happy is option day. But, we came up with a whole bunch of fun words after this one day. So I think bagels came in there at one point in time with that one.
Sure.
Bagels,
Sure.
donuts.
Bagel.
Donuts came in on that one too. It was, we got a whole bunch. We even started thinking of weird ones like turkey. All right. So welcome into the show. Today we are going to be talking some Cleveland Browns. We are going to be talking some preseason game one. We are talking, taco is not a 6-letter word, Justin. That's a good try. He did send me something. I'll send it to you later, Brian. That got me very excited. And then I realized it was a taco, and then it's just we have an argument on our hands of what's a taco and what's not. But and then Jose is back. Jose came into work today.
Yeah, no way.
Came into work today. Now he's not. I don't know if he's back to work yet or not. But
Come on in. Tell him to come on Saturday.
But hear that, Jose? Brian will be there Saturday.
Come on in on Saturday.
So Jose came in today and said, Jerry, I cannot find you guys anywhere on Facebook. I said, Jose, all you got to type in is Illegal Ham to the Face and you'll find it. He goes, I don't know how to work that. I'm like, I'll take care of it. So I got him hooked.
Send him the
back
link.
up.
Nice. Is he
hooked
going
him
to join
up.
the show?
He hasn't been watching because he can't find us on Facebook. So
Have him join in.
I'll send him.
Story time with Jose?
Oh my God.
We might have to plan for that. I don't know if that's a spur of the moment type of thing.
I don't think that's like a planned show for like an extended period of time. That's like Eric, I do not know. I have texted her. I hope she is okay. I'm not 100% sure, so we will find out here later. I hope she's okay and hope she will text back. She might still be sleeping. Who knows? But we'll find out later. Hopefully she'll be here with us next week because we got an announcement about our fantasy football. But as I was getting back to it, Jose's back, Brian. He's going to be watching us. He'll come in Saturday, take a look at you.
Sweet.
We're going to talk about some backup quarterbacks. Brian, I hate to do it, but we got to talk about our kicker, bud. We have got to talk about our kicker. And I'm about half tempted to just get me Dicker the kicker, and we'll figure something else out because this is getting crazy. The Browns are also in Philly right now for training camp practice. From a lot of things that I've heard, a few players have stood out, which Brian and I will get into. Fat Boy Tuesday, guess what, guys? We are talking this list right here as soon as I find it again. this list right here. And we're going to do a rank 'em on it. And also, the person that brought this out said pick 2 out of this list for the only 2 that you can have. And that's a tough one because we definitely love our fried potatoes. So we'll get into that. Also, Bri, boom, take a look at this. I got a new present for you. Boom, Geno's. More than just Italian. Join us live August 28th at 7 p.m. or 29th at 7 p.m.
29th.
It is in Strongsville. You can catch us here on Twitter, also YouTube and Facebook if you guys want to check out the food. They're very excited for us to come, Bri, and I cannot wait because it is not just Italian food. They have some Americana food. There's burgers there. There's pizzas, Bri. There's ribs. There's Italian beef sandwiches. There's subs. So you're going to have your pick of what you want to get when you're there. So be ready.
Pumped. Yeah, I've never been there, so I'm excited.
All right. Now, Bri, we always start our show out with some. Oh, and also the top 3 today is Happy Tunes. Bri and I are getting some happy tunes in. It's one of those tunes that no matter what happens, get you happy as soon as you hear that song start playing. You start to giggle and sing along or just start jamming out to it or however it is. So happy tunes. So, Bri, we got top 3 for that. Also, got to thank Harold Keel for Lake Erie APA for being our sponsor. As of right now, we do have 1 spot open for fantasy. We will find out Friday. Now, Bri, you and I have decided that the 30th, August 30th, is when we are doing our draft. Correct?
Wednesday? Is that a Wednesday?
That is a Wednesday. All right.
Yep.
And the list of names that we have so far, you got the Fat Man, you got Big Bri, you got Sherry, you got Joe Bear is back in. Chris,
Sweet.
brother from another mother.
Yeah.
Big Boy Phillips is in. Craig Foster is in. Lauren is in. Justin is in. Nick Wallace is in. Mark Roeder is in. The big man from the Lyman, or not the Lyman Lounge, the Cheap Seats Pod is in.
Mhm.
And Harold is in from Lake Erie APA. So we will probably have 2 spots open, maybe. We're not 100% sure. So we will let you know on the 18th. So our show on next week, we will hash everything out, and that will be it. And we'll let you know what we're doing for fantasy this year. So there's the fantasy football update. Is the holder's fault the reason why our kicker sucks? It could be. It could be. I'm not gonna... Lace is out.
I
man.
hope so. I hope so. That would be awesome if it just changed a holder.
I mean, Lace is out, Dan. You never know. Cade York might turn into Einhorn, Detective Einhorn, and you never know. Never know what happens after that. It just goes downhill. All right, Brian, let's get our show. You got your shout outs this week, brother? First
Man,
off,
I don't.
before we get into shout outs, how was Medina this week? How did Lily's Lemonade go this week?
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'll make that my shout out. It was good. I mean, I think we sold over 400 cups of lemonade. So,
Shut the front door.
you know, it's unbelievable. It's 5 hours, 6 hours of just nonstop shaking, making lemonade, and had to run out a couple times to get ice and lemons and water because we kept running out. And so it is just, it's ridiculous. I can't believe how much people love lemonade, and we love the support. And you know, it's called Lily's Lemonade because of our dog.
Mhm.
And so every show that we do, it's just kind of a side hustle on the weekend with my wife and I. So every show we do, we donate a portion of the proceeds to a local dog shelter, a non-kill shelter. And so this weekend, the one we are going to donate to was City Dogs. So shout them out. Yep, we love City Dogs.
Well, I'm glad you brought up City Dogs, Brian, because we have a couple other banners to show, but I'll let you finish up. Go ahead.
That was it. Yeah, we had a good weekend. So yeah, we're excited to go up there and place a donation. And yeah, you know, certainly you and Sherry and the whole show has a lot to do with City Dogs, and we love them. So any way we can support them, we're happy to do so.
Perfect. And just on that note, I got a message from Beth Guess what this month is, Bri?
What's that?
It is Clean Out the Shelter month, Bri. $21 adoptions all the way through August, okay? Also, they're having a party on the 19th and 20th. Help us clear out the shelter. There is their address right there. Get a hold of them on City Dogs. Help them clear out the shelter, Bri. As we always say, we always try to help out. We do have a new dog of the week this week, big fella. I can't wait to announce him. It is a him. Okay. And other than that, we got our show coming up also, which I think I still have up here. Boom. There it is. It's getting closer and closer, Bri. So,
wow.
Just right now, the names that are going to be showing up at this party is myself and you, obviously. Big Boy Phillips will be there.
Sweet.
Roger from Dog Chug will be there. Always Positive Jay will be there. Peter Tellep will be there. Gab Goody will be there. Also, all the City Dogs, Beth and all of them from City Dogs will be there, Bri. We also are trying to get a hold of some former players to join us that day. We have a couple that we're talking to right now that I will tell you later, which I think you'll get excited about. Well, no, I can't pull that hard anymore, Bri. that was
one time was good enough for me.
That was a one-trick pony. I don't know if I can pull that one off, but we'll see what we can get. Also, it's going to be at Melt Bar and Grilled in Independence. Come join us. The only shout out I got this week, Bri, is a little somber one. I got to shout out all my family, my extended family. We lost one of our elders this weekend. 88 years old. Loved her to death. It was my Aunt Donna. She is my grandfather's sister, but our family has always been close. And when I mean close, like every Christmas Eve, that side of the family and our side of the family always used to come together for one huge party Christmas Eve. And we would party from 5 o'clock until whenever everybody went home. Didn't matter when it was. So just want to send out condolences to that side of the family. We love you all. We'll be seeing you here soon for calling hours and everything else. But just want to send a shout out to her, 88 years old. I mean, 88, Bri, you can't beat it. It's a good life. And she ended up with, let's see here, I think she had 8 grandchildren and 12 great grandchildren, Bri. So good life, good life. So shout out to them.
Yeah, I mean, when you live 88 years, it's a celebration. It should be. Yeah, it got me thinking. This weekend there was a service for my aunt lost her mom at 92 years old, and it was a service on Saturday, really nice, and it was like a celebration. You know, people were happy. She was certainly very religious, had a great relationship with the Lord, and yeah, we can all only be so lucky at 88, 92 years old to live that full of a life. So, yeah, it sucks that you lose them, but you're happy for them that they can move on to the next stage and certainly lived a fantastic life while they're on this earth.
Yeah, and I started. Not to be joking with my dad, but I joked with my dad. I'm thinking, that makes you the oldest one in the clan now, Dad. He goes, I guess so. And just start laughing. But
it happens fast. I
know. And it's just like, like I was talking to you, we're getting to that point in time in our, our age, our life that, for the longest time, we didn't have people, passing away and everything else. Now we're getting to that point in time in our life where funerals start to become more often and more often because of, just growing old. And that's growing old and growing up. That's what you deal with. Mm-hmm. So, all right, Brian, let's get into our show. I do have a trivia for you, but I got to find it. And
okay.
I got to play our trivia sounder. So let me play that and then see if I can find this thing. I think I got it, Bri. So our trivia is brought to you by City Dogs of Cleveland. I told you we had a new dog tonight, and his name is Ralston. And let me bring up his beautiful mug face. Love these dogs, Bri. They just make me laugh every time I see him. Look at this face right here. I can't say no to that face. It's like a pug mixed with a Roddy. He's a happy little man, a friendly bobblehead, chipper, easygoing on walks. He takes plenty of times to stop and smell the roses. Amusing blunts of silliness and unexpected zoomies. He'll definitely keep you laughing, but overall, he's pretty low key, vibe, and nice. He is estimated to be around 2 years old and weigh 58 pounds. So look at that face right there. You can't go wrong with a little guy like that. So please go get a hold of City Dogs Cleveland. We got that rolling down here at the bottom, how to get a hold of them. And don't forget, $21 adoptions. You can't beat that, Bri. Let's clear out that kennel. Clear out those kennels this week, all right? So this whole month, $21 adoptions. You can't beat it. All right. Bri, I have a fun one for me, somber one for you.
Okay. Sounds like Michigan, Ohio State.
Nope. It's actually Browns related.
Really?
And I'm giving you a little T-ball because there was a conversation, and you and I both listen to sports. There was a conversation on 92.3 this morning, and they were talking, are we too hard on Stefanski? And I get that. I get that question because, he's actually done pretty well here, with circumstances that's going on. But, we've been kind of hard on coaches. And they gave this rundown of coaches in Philly that got fired after going 13-3. Let's see here. Andy Reid, you know what he did there and got fired. You had Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl and then proceeded to get fired. Even before that, okay. Bri, how many coaches have the Cleveland Browns since 1999 won double-digit games?
Okay.
All right.
I think I got it.
It's a little lofter. I'm throwing the light one down the middle.
I wish there were more, but unfortunately, I can count on one hand.
But just hearing the list from Philly and how crazy those fans are, and your coach wins the Super Bowl and goes like 10-6 next year. Fire him. Can't do it. Fire him. Get him out of here. It's like, hold on, what?
Right. And it goes to show you just being hard on a coach is not a good thing, because Doug Peterson and Andy Reid are probably two of the top 10 best coaches in the league, and you jettison them out of town. And how would an Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes combo look in Philly right now? So yeah, I mean, just by getting rid of them and being hard on them doesn't mean that's the right decision.
Chris asked earlier, do we have a date and time set for the fantasy league? And yes, we did announce it. It will be the 30th, August 30th. Brian, what do you want to do? 7 p.m. or 8 p.m.?
I think 8. That way people have time to have dinner and whatnot. And because they don't take that long. I mean, what are we talking? 14 teams this year?
Yes, probably.
So I'd say like an hour and a half. So you'd be done before 10.
All right. So there it is. Fantasy will be starting up. We did have Belichick. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Belichick.
We didn't fire him. The Ravens fired him.
Yeah, they did. Mom's here. What's going on, Mom? Thank you for coming in.
Hey.
All right, Bri, let's get to Chris's favorite part of the show. Here we go. It's time for your Cleveland headlines. And starting off your Cleveland headlines, tonight your Guardians are taking on the Cincinnati Reds, Bri. The only reason I bring this up because my brother from another mother is a Reds fan, and I hope that De La Cruz breaks his ankle or something tonight as he's running around the bases. I wish ill on other people if my team is not well. So just so for that, Chris. Also, Guards went to Tampa. They should have actually had 3 games and swept and came back. but bullpen let them down a little bit. Little Class A blow ups at the end. Couple games were all the way down to the ninth inning with comebacks, and then finally the bats started going nuts. But a couple rookies started getting hot, so we'll see what this team is, Bry. Just a quick blurb. We'll move on from that because it's the Guardians. We're going to be talking about them here in Dan's time. Here he is. Other than that, Bry, that's all that's really going on with the Guardians. Naylor's still out. Pitchers are still out. All that stuff. So
how many back are we now? Do you know?
I don't know. I stopped counting anymore. If they miraculously start to come back, I mean, there's less than 60 games now, Bry. So they got to either make it. I think there's less than 50 now or something like that. So they're going to make a move. Time to make a move. So also, we did get some sad news from the Browns front. Jacob Phillips is out with a season-ending injury again. I feel bad for that man. Every year that he has played for the Cleveland Browns, he has been started out good and then completely injured on that front. Other than that, we did have the – go ahead, Bry. You want to say something?
No, I got nothing. Go ahead.
We are going to talk about the Browns versus the Commies. And am I allowed to say Commies on our show, Bry?
On our show, absolutely. I've heard people say it. I mean,
I don't want to. It's just they're new. It's all right. So the Browns played the Washington Commanders last Friday night, Bry, and we got to see our stars come out and go. Sean Watson came out and looked. I was kind of happy with what I saw. I didn't see a lot of happy feet. He actually looked kind of set in the pocket, threw a couple of passes. He only threw 3 passes. The one thing I did not like, Brian, I know it would be a touchdown if Nick Chubb played in that game, but Nick Chubb did not play. That goal line stand where Demetric Felton started dancing around like he's a dancing bear and got tackled behind. I kind of went on Twitter and I said, why don't you lower your shoulder, run it right up your guard's ass, and fall into the end zone instead of dancing around? And I forgot it wasn't Nick Chubb. So pretty sure Nick Chubb would have done that. What was the other one that I saw? DTR showed out and showed great again. I tell you what, that kid is looking something fierce. And Bry, do I dare say we might have a new right tackle at some point in time this season? The big old fella from Ohio State is looking very, very good right now. He played the entire game at the Hall of Fame game, played the second half. I think he played more than the second half for the rest of that game. Bry, he is a massive man, and he is moving good, and a lot of people are starting to catch his attention. So first off, let's go with your first drive. What do you think of Sean Watson and what the Browns did the first drive with the starters?
I think whatever you thought of Deshaun Watson going into this game, I think that's kind of where you sit right now. I don't think what they did in the first drive should necessarily change your mind. If you thought, hey, he might struggle, I don't think you're saying, oh, wow, he went 3 for 3 for 12 yards, and maybe I was wrong about him. But, yeah, he didn't fail the test. Whatever the test was, he didn't fail it. He didn't look great, but he didn't look bad. He just looked, average, I would say. It was nice to see him complete some passes, make some plays, getting out of the pocket. The thing that was maybe most encouraging was just the fact that they moved the ball down to the goal line. And, yeah, I think in a real game, a real situation where they're trying to score a touchdown, by all means, I think they eventually find a way to punch it in. But at that point, Stefanski saw Deshaun Watson take him down the field and, get inside the 5-yard line, and whether they score a touchdown or not is kind of irrelevant at that point. These coaches, they're so vanilla. They don't want to show anything. So I'm sure if he really wanted to score, he could have drawn something up and at least given us a throw or two to the end zone to try to score something. But, it's the preseason. Like I said, many, many times in the past, I get so excited for these games, and then I end up watching them, and it's like, I don't know how much I can really take from these games, just because guys are not giving 110%, and the coaches certainly are not calling games like they would in the regular season. So whatever you felt going into this game, I think this game doesn't really change much about our starting units. But it was good to see that we didn't suck. We weren't terrible, and we looked halfway decent against probably a below average team. So, yeah, I mean, as a Browns fan, if you want to get excited about it, I'm not going to hate on you.
All right. What did you think about DTR?
Encouraged, yeah. For a rookie who's only played in live action one other time, to look good in 2 straight preseason games against second, third teamers, whatever. But he's done everything you could ask him as a rookie quarterback who was drafted in the late rounds, and hopefully he gets his opportunity at some point. Well, I shouldn't say hopefully, because that if I say hopefully, that means I'm hoping that Deshaun Watson gets hurt. But hopefully he continues to progress throughout this preseason and get more comfortable in NFL action. And if break glass in case of emergency, we have to play him. He's not a deer in headlights out there.
Yeah. And then your thoughts about Dwuan Jones and how good he's done in camp so far.
A pleasant surprise. And again, it's preseason, so I try not to get too excited about it. But I mean, best case scenario, even if it takes Dwuan Jones a year to settle into being a starting offensive tackle, I don't think he's going to get that opportunity this year unless there's injury. So again, we don't hope to see him, but it's nice to see that, because we were worried about him in rookie camp that, maybe he's just not serious about NFL. Maybe he just likes to eat too much and doesn't like to work enough. So yeah, everything you've seen from him has been encouraging. And, best case scenario, if he could ever become a starting offensive lineman for us, maybe as early as next year, if they decide that he has progressed enough and, we don't want to pay Jed Wills, I think that's unbelievable. That's a steal if he can become even an average offensive tackle, to get that in the 4th round. And, with your salary cap issues, you don't have to pay him starting left tackle money for another 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years, I guess. But yeah, if he could turn into anything, that's awesome. That's just something that every Browns fan should be rooting for.
Is there another one that stood out to you during the Commanders game that you'd like to talk about?
I was going to get to him a little bit later, but I think I'm falling in love with the new Browns player, Zadarius Smith, man. He's just from his interview to shouting out Joe Thomas. I mean, these guys only get a couple minutes or 30 seconds for an interview, and he's shouting out Joe Thomas, and he's making plays on the field, and just seems like a very likable dude, and he's got the play to back it up. So I'm trying to, again, preseason, contain my excitement, but I think he's a difference maker, and to have 2 difference makers at your 2 end spots, that's how you beat the elite quarterbacks. You don't give them a ton of time to throw. You make them uncomfortable in the pockets. So time will tell, but I like what I saw.
All right, next on the list, Brian, and I hate to do this, but we got to talk about it. Our kicker, Brian. Our kicker. Missed another field goal during the Commanders. I guess supposedly he's nailing everything at practice, but when it comes to games, he's not nailing. And I'm quite concerned now, especially after the end of last season, plus the beginning of this preseason with missing some kicks and missing some extra points. How concerned are you for Cade York?
I don't know if it's my headphones or if it's your mic, but you're very fuzzy there. So.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I'm just letting you know. Maybe if it's me, then everybody else will tell me I'm an idiot. But as far as Cade York, I mean, you can't like what you see.
Yeah.
I understand that that people are concerned, and you should be, because at this point his biggest enemy is himself, and that's why people they're clamoring for them to bring in competition for him. I don't really think that's really going to make much of a difference, because whether he's competing against another kicker or not, his biggest enemy is himself, and he's got to get out of his own head. He's got to see his sports psychiatrist or psychologist, and just figure out how to deal with the pressure, because certainly he has the talent. That's why he was drafted where he was drafted. That's why he makes every kick in the practice. But what separates the average kickers from the great kickers is doing it in prime time and doing it when the lights are on. And yeah, I think you got to give him a chance, and he's going to be your kicker to start the season. But if he blows a game, if he blows 2 games, then you're looking to make a move. And kicker is the one position in the entire NFL where you could pick a guy up on Saturday and he could play for you on Sunday. A kicker is a kicker is a kicker. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to learn schemes. He doesn't have to learn formations or anything like that. You just plug and play. So that's why, I don't need to see another kicker. It just give me a guy who can make kicks consistently from 50 and under. And there's a bunch of guys like that out there. There's a bunch of veterans. That's why, if you remember a couple years ago, Cody Parkey, I was a Cody Parkey fan, because, people weren't super excited to have him, but he was solid. And if you get rid of Cade York, that's what you're looking at. You mentioned Dicker the kicker before. Cody Parkey, whoever else is out there, Mason Crosby, guys like that, to where they're veterans. They've been in that situation, but you can count on them. Whereas at this point, Cade York, you can't count on him. But I will say, if you're a Browns fan, I was disappointed maybe a little bit in Browns fans, and I understand their frustration. But if you're a Browns fan, the worst thing you can do at this point is boo your kicker, because he's already in his own head. And he knows if he misses a kick, he's going to have to hear about it from 70,000 people. So if you really want your kicker to do well, support him as best you can until he's no longer your kicker. But there are some people out there that just want him gone, and they want their pound of flesh. And so what they want to do is they want to boo him. They want him to just do terrible and not hit anything, and then we can get rid of him as soon as possible. But if you're a true Browns fan, I would think you want this very talented kicker to do as well as possible, because he does. I know nobody wants to hear it now, but he does have the potential, if he can get out of his own head, to be a top 5 kicker in the league. And he just has to get more comfortable in that situation. And right now he's just not comfortable in it. And I wish, like, the NFL had like a farm system like baseball does, to where we could send him down for maybe a year, let him get comfortable, and then try it again next year or something. But unfortunately, you pick one guy and you go with him. And so, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to them carrying 2 kickers this year. If they truly believe that Cade York's ceiling is to be a top 2 or 3 kicker in the league, carry 2 kickers this year. He's not ready. Let a veteran kick it until he gets more and more comfortable in these situations. But we've seen other guys drafted high in drafts, 2nd, 3rd rounds, just completely flame out because they can't handle the pressure. So maybe that's him. I don't know. I'm not in that room.
Yeah. Nobody liked my idea, because I know the preseason really doesn't mean anything. And I kind of told them to just send him out onto the field, no matter what down or distance. As soon as you get in field goal range, go out, kick it. I don't care if it's 1st and 10. Go kick field goal. Just keep sending them out just to get them comfortable. And,
right. Absolutely.
And I would do it every possession. And I don't care if we win 15-0. Every possession, go on, go kick. But coach, it's 2nd and 7. Don't care, go kick. Go on. And just keep sending them out there.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's because what's going to be more important, having Kellen Mond throw 7 times when you're at the 30 or the 40, or having Cade York just go out there and kick it? What's going to mean more to your season? What's going to impact your success more? And so, right now it's get Cade York as comfortable as possible. And, I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't feel the pressure that kickers sometimes do when you're at home in front of your own crowd, because people are going to boo you if you miss it. So maybe he can relax a little bit on the road these next couple games, but eventually he's going to have to kick in Brown Stadium, and he's going to feel that pressure all over again.
Yep. All right, Brian, we also got to get into, you wanted me to send out a poll of who should be our backup quarterback, Brian. Should it be Kellen Mond? Should it be Dobbs, or should it be DTR or a free agent? And what are you doing?
It's definitely my
headphones.
Yeah, my headphones are.
I'm sorry,
making
bro.
You sound all funny.
So right now I put out the poll on Twitter and Facebook, and an astounding 72% said DTR. There's another one that says DTR. Yep. So how do you feel about DTR maybe being our backup here coming up?
I think it's a little premature. But it's the knee-jerk reaction. It's overreaction Monday, as they say. He's looked good. He scored a couple touchdowns the last few games, and Josh Dobbs has not done much. So I understand why people are saying that, but trying to keep a level head here. One guy has a bunch more NFL experience than the other guy, and so I would give Dobbs the nod right now, but know that he's on a short leash if he goes out there and doesn't perform for a game or two and you lose, and you have to have a quick trigger because you can't be messing around with games this year. If he's not getting it done, get him out there and try the young kid.
Yep, and I just like what I'm seeing from him so far. The kid's just playing loose, and he's just letting it play. He's just having fun and just playing. It's actually been really nice to watch. Up next right now, the Browns are practicing in Philadelphia. There's been little skirmishes. And they announced that DTR will be taking the snaps first. And then Kellen Mond for that game. All starters will be sitting out again because they got all their practice in that week. So, Bri, what do you take away from these joint practices when we get people together like that?
I don't understand why Kellen Mond honestly would be taking any reps away from Dobbs and DTR, because in my eyes he's just a camp arm, and he was brought in to be a camp arm, and if DTR really struggled, then maybe you think about him as your third string guy. But you have Dobbs, who you're pretty content with being your backup, and you have your guy who you drafted, and you're only keeping 3 quarterbacks. So other than that, anything that Mond takes away from those 2 guys is just kind of a waste to me. So yeah, I think I'd be excited. I think Dobbs, I don't even know did they say Dobbs is playing or not?
No, Dobbs is not playing, they said.
Yeah, I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. He struggled in his first game against a decent defense, and you'd be going against some pretty solid veteran guys, even if it's on the second unit for the Eagles. I think he could learn a lot from that and get a lot of confidence going, because so much of football is confidence in yourself, confidence in your team, and your knowledge of the offense. So again, I think that's a mistake to not even play. It's the 3rd preseason game, not even to play your backups because you're worried they might get hurt. Give me a break.
Yep. So I don't know. I don't know why they're not playing Dobbs. I think he needs some time too. But also the wide receivers did very well. We did have some minor injuries. Myles Garrett went out with a foot injury. but he was laughing it up on the sideline, so it wasn't anything serious. Denzel Ward went out with a little bit of a heat and tummy issue going on there. And then the big one is Jack Conklin went out with what they're saying might be a concussion, but not 100% sure. So Dobbs did get some work in this week with the practice. I wouldn't say a lot because most of that was taken by Deshaun Watson, the way they were going. So also the one thing you do like to hear, Travis Kelce came out, or not Travis, the other brother, Jason Kelce came out and said that our defensive line is pretty damn scary. He said it's probably one of the best that he's seen since he's been playing center. So that's always a good kudos right there to have that, Bri. So on that note, Bri, do you want to talk a little bit about the Philly game, or do you want to move into Fat Boy Tuesday?
We can move into Fat Boy Tuesday.
All right, let's do it. Let's move into Fat Boy Tuesday.
And now it's time for Fat Boy Tuesday.
All right, Bri. So Fat Boy Tuesday, we brought up the fried taters, and you could only pick 2 out of this list, Bri. And I was kind of shocked by it because, it's hard to pick 2 out of this list. All right. So you did a rank them. I'm going to let you go first and start out with the 2 that you're going to pick. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm still not even convinced totally about these 2, but I'll give you the top 2 on my list, and then I'll explain why I'm not totally convinced. So my list goes number 1, curly fries.
All right.
Certainly you can have bad curly fries, but when I think of curly fries, I think of Arby's. So 1 is curly, 2 waffle. Specifically, the ones in the picture look fantastic.
Yeah, they do.
Little seasoning on them makes them even better. 2's waffle, 3 are tots. Pretty standard.
All right.
4 steak fries. 5, I got the shoestrings. And I mean, other than McDonald's, I can't really think of great shoestring fries. McDonald's certainly, the tide raises all ships, so that's why they're up at 5. 6, I got sweet potato fries. And 7, crinkle. And 8, I got the wedges. Now, my top 2, if you go off my list, would be the curly and the waffle. I'm thinking maybe they might be a little too similar, so that's why I would consider putting the tots in there to replace one of those. But we're just going based on my list. I got curly waffle, number 1 and 2.
All right. Well, for me, Brian, mine goes like this. I got to go curly first, right out of the gate, curly.
Nice.
All right. Number 2, I got to go crinkle, but they got to be cooked right, Brian. And I mean, like, not soggy. They actually got to be kind of fresh. Number 3 for me is waffle fries. Number 4, tots. Number 5, steak fries. Number 6, wedges. Number 7, shoestring. And number 8, sweet potato fries. So that's my list. Now, the tots kind of move back and forth. And my mom, Brian, I'll bring this back down. Let me bring this out here a little bit. My mom brought up a great point that some of these kind of depends on the situation of the dinner that you're having.
Sure.
Some of them. But I do curly fries. Yeah, KFC wedges are the bomb. When dipped in mashed. The other one, the wedges from Wendy's, their morning breakfast wedges that they have, are freaking fantastic. Now, when you say shoestring fries, Brian, now when I think of shoestring fries, I think of like the Steak and Shake fries, like the really, really tiny ones.
Really? If that's the case, I'd put those last.
Because that's the only reason why, because when I think of shoestring, I think of those, because anything thicker than that is an actual, like, a legit fry. It just depends on how you season them.
So where would you put McDonald's fries? What category?
McDonald's fries would be up there with not the crinkle cut, but I don't know. Well, they would have to go. Well, they would have to go into shoestring one because they're not crinkle cuts. But it's hard to put them in that, because when I think of that, Brian, I think of like really, really tiny fries, and like the ones you get Steak and Shake that you're picking up like 17 of them like a claw. It's like,
they're like one step above potato sticks.
Now, the one thing I do, somebody brought up on here, Bri, with the sweet potato fries, he talked about doing that cinnamon maple butter on them and a little bit of brown sugar and stuff and eating them that way. But see, like when I get sweet potato fries, Bri, I gotta have it with a certain thing. Like I can't have it with a burger because it just, for me, when you're thinking like burger, you're thinking like French fries, you're thinking tots, you're thinking wedges. I don't think sweet potato fries because I don't think the sweet with that salty burger.
Sure, I understand that. For me, sweet potato fries, I have them low because for some reason, and this happens with a couple different foods, peppers. My wife says I always say peppers. I just have like a negative connotation towards a certain food, but then I eat it and I really enjoy it.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of where sweet potato fries are. Whenever I have them, I'm like, these are good. I should have them more often. But whenever I think about them, I'm like, I'll pass. So I'll get tots or something like that.
Yeah, and the one thing I really like about, like, and I know everybody, you don't reheat these that often, and I'm a monster and I'll eat them cold every now and then.
Okay.
But like with the waffle fries, I'm telling you what, those things are a pain in the ass to eat the next day. That you gotta eat those fresh, and that's all. But with tots are almost amazing the next day, and especially even if they're cold. Like I don't even care. I pop like Skittles, but also the more things that you could do with tots wise when you're cooking. You can do a breakfast, casserole with tots. You could do, there's a lot of things you could do with tots, and that's why I had tots really high on my list.
Sure.
Sweet potato fries dipped in barbecue sauce. I have a message. Justin sent me. Yep, he sent me a message. I do have to say the new KFC fries are very good.
Yeah.
Brian, what is your they use a shoestring fry, McDonald's shoestring fries. I guess they are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just like what my favorite fast food fries probably got to be Wendy's with their natural cut fries because they're really good. But man, you cannot go wrong with either Rally's seasoned fries or Arby's curly fries.
Oh, for sure.
And especially if the Rally's fries are actually good, like if they're fresh.
They're always good. I don't know. Honestly, I don't think I've ever had a bad. I mean, like you were saying, they're not great reheated because you get some of the really small ones, like at the bottom, and if you reheat those, they just turn into like you're eating a pencil. So I wouldn't recommend that. But looking at our list, we're kind of, in the same ballpark, except for crinkle fries. You got them high. I don't have them so high.
I just think if you get crinkle fries, so the reason why I got crinkle fries high, Bri, is where we grew up with the little dairy stand that was there. That's all we kind of got was crinkle fries. But they always would put in that little salt packet. So they would salt them, but they put in that little baby salt packet in there if you want more salt on them. Flick that thing, pour it on there. But if they're cooked right, that's like my biggest thing because I want the crispy, really crispy outside because most places don't keep them in long enough. Like they're cooked when you get them, don't get me wrong, but they're like mushy, like certain ones.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I like the ones where you like grab it and you actually get a good bite out of it. But that's how I grew up. I mean,
oh yeah.
But
that's what I think of when I think of crinkle fries is they can be kind of mushy at times if they're done right. So there's two crinkle fries that are head and shoulders above every other crinkle fry, and that's Arby's and that's Steak and Shake. Not Steak and Shake, Shake Shack. I don't know if you've had those. Those two far superior than any other crinkle fry. But to me, crinkle fries are just kind of if you want to punt on a fry, like Raising Cane's. They don't want to come up with their own fry. The generic fry is a crinkle fry. Let's just throw it at people, and they're not going to be unhappy with it, but it's not going to blow your socks off. So that's kind of where I'm at with crinkle fries. If you can do it and do it well, there have been times I've gotten Arby's crinkle fries over their curly fries. So, but it seems like it's very difficult to do for for fast food restaurants.
Yep. All right, Bri. Well, that is our Fat Boy Tuesday. Let's do our trivia before we hop into top three. And our trivia was brought to you by City Dogs of Cleveland, and this rousing young male, 2 pound, 58 pound Ralston. And people, please do not forget, it is $21 adoption all the way through August. So please go adopt a dog from City Dogs Cleveland, Bri. Now, the question that I brought to you, Bri, was how many coaches had winning seasons since 1999 here in Cleveland?
Okay, so for some reason I was thinking double-digit win seasons, but winning seasons, it might be the same
No,
answer.
double digit. That's what I meant.
Is it
I'm
double
sorry.
digit? Okay.
Double digit. I'm sorry.
I think it might be the same answer. I don't know if any coach
I
ever
think it
finished
is.
9 and 7. So I got Butch Davis,
Mm-hmm.
I got Romeo, and I got Kevin Stefanski, and I think that's the only 3. Should have been Mike Pettin. But somebody said you got to play Johnny Manziel, and probably the worst decision that the Browns organization ever made, especially after hearing about. I didn't watch it, but after hearing about that documentary,
you have to watch it.
I don't think I do. I think I got everything that I'm going to get by watching it, just from hearing other people talk about it. So, I mean, nothing's too surprising.
The only thing that sucked about it, Bri, and don't get me wrong, it was Johnny telling his story. It wasn't Browns telling their story. It wasn't anybody. It was Johnny telling his story. And the one thing that I kind of just I wish there was more of was a little bit more in depth with the Browns of like what went on, because it was not good. Whatever it was definitely not good. But just like the things, the little blurps that came out, like the stuff that he did, and it was just like, man, kid, it was almost. I know he's not Josh Gordon, but it was almost like Josh Gordon-esque. Like he just sabotaged himself, and just like with the talent, with everything else, like they said, they asked other people, would Johnny actually make it? Because if you put Johnny football where he was at then, Bri, and this is before our Jalen Hurts, our Patrick Mahomes, all these mobile quarterbacks now, the arm talent was there. You could tell he had definitely swagger, but he was short, but he wasn't frail. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was like 220, something like that.
No,
like
I don't think he was 220. I mean, Baker's like 220.
Towards the end, he got a lot skinnier with all the drug use, but it was a really good, Bri. I mean, I do recommend you watching it just to kind of pick up like some of the stuff that, like just the backstory of the shit that he pulled that just blew your mind. And the great thing is Cliff Kingsbury through that entire freaking thing was amazing. Just like, yeah, we knew he did it. We didn't care as long as he played. Like, awesome. I'm glad that happened.
I think it's just going to make me sick. Like you say, well, maybe potentially he was missing his size and his frame were not the biggest things working against him. The two biggest things that make you a star quarterback in this league are determination, hard work. Well, 3 things: determination, hard work, and focus. And he was 0 for 3 there. He wanted to do everything other than work hard. And hearing about this, I can't believe what his teammates were thinking. Like a Joe Thomas. Hey, I'm really good. I'm a Pro Bowl player. I'm an all-pro guy. You're asking me now to waste 2 or 3 of my prime years for this guy? We are not going anywhere, and I'm going to waste the best years I have in this league in my football career just to do nothing for this guy. And so, I mean, makes him even more of a saint for wanting to stay in Cleveland after going through that.
Well, the one that I took away from it that really, and there's no more spoiler, it's already out. The one that really cracked me up was the one where the Browns flew in for a private workout with Johnny Manziel, right? And this should have been the red flag to begin all red flags. So at the time, you had, who was the GM? Was it Ray
Can't remember if
Farmer?
it was Sashi or Ray. I think it was Ray Farmer.
I think it was Ray Farmer.
He was the one that texted down to
Mhm.
the sidelines.
So it was Ray Farmer, Mangenius, or was it Mangenius? No, Pettin.
Patton.
And then who? Haslam was the owner by then, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, remember the bum telling him to
So-
draft him?
So they go meet up with this guy at dinner. All right. Saturday night, they all go out to dinner. His agent, everybody, all the Browns people, they're sitting there having a good dinner. Dinner went absolutely amazing. He hit it out of the park with the dinner because it just everything, every answer was correct. Everything. After the dinner was over, the Browns left. Johnny went drinking with all of his buddies. Okay.
Sure.
Shows up the next day for his private workout with the Browns with two of his wide receivers missing because they were hung over and another one puking on the sideline. This guy got his accountant and his agent to run routes for him so he could show the arm talent to the Cleveland Browns. That right there should have been the biggest red flag. When you have your agent running routes for you, you should be deemed untouchable. But nope, not the Cleveland Browns. We'll trade up to get him.
When you have fans saying that they can do a better job than the GMs, that's exactly why right there. Because now there were fans that were fanboys and they were doing the money signs and they love the swagger and this and that, but any
Brian,
person who had half a brain could see, and we were on the outside. Just imagine if you were on the inside and you were seeing this and you were considering yourself a professional making a multi-million-dollar move or investment in this guy and saying, yeah, I know we had this study that we put a lot of time and money into and it said to take that guy, Teddy Bridgewater, over there. But, forget all that. We want the glitz, we want the glamour, we want all the craziness, and whatever repercussions come from drafting this guy, we're okay with. And just how do they move up that high to be a general manager making decisions like that is just beyond me. Like, I don't know, makes me sick.
That draft, I think, wasn't Justin Gilbert drafted first?
Yeah, Justin Gilbert was the other draft pick. That will go down. I think that'll go down as the worst draft, not even in Browns history, but in NFL history, possibly, because those two guys couldn't have been further from NFL players.
Oh God, look how far we've come, though.
That's why we can get excited about a team like this one. Looking back at that, for the people that can't get on board with this team, I don't know what you're waiting for, because I'm not saying this team's going to the Super Bowl, but this is the best team we've had in 25, 30 years, maybe.
Yep. All right, Brian, let's get in our top three and close this show out. You ready?
Yeah.
Drop something. Our top three is not brought to you by anybody except for us. And this week's top three, Brian, is we are going to talk about definitely worst draft of all time, Chris said. We're going to talk about happy songs because it is happy-go-lucky time, Brian, and I cannot wait. So let's get our happy songs going. And you want me to start or you want to go first?
Yeah, you go ahead. I'm still
All right.
narrowing it down.
Number three for me to go with happy songs is the happiest of all happy songs because it is Happy by Pharrell Williams. I cannot help it. Every time that song comes on or I watch Trolls or something of that nature, Bri, every time I hear Justin Timberlake and all them singing and just because I'm happy. Love that song. And then the other one was the Justin Timberlake song with Trolls. God, now I can't even think of the name of it offhand. But my number one that really gets me excited, Bri, Regulators, Warren G and Nate Dogg.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that song comes on, Bri, I roll down the windows. I start me mugging people out the window, and I just start rapping like you wouldn't believe. That is one of my happiest songs when that thing comes on, because especially right at the beginning, regulators, mount up. And as soon as I hear that, I'm like, here we go. Roll down the windows. So, Brian, what are your top three?
Oh, man. Now I'm coming up with another different list. This is now my third list here. Golly. Okay, well, I'll scratch that one because nobody probably knows. Do you know the Golf Boys song? Have you ever YouTubed that? With
Oh,
Ricky
the one
Fowler?
with
Ricky
Bubba
Fowler
Watson
and
I
Bubba
know that
Watson,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, that gets stuck in my head when I need to pick me up. But that's okay. I'll say number 3. I'm gonna go Jesse's Girl. For some reason,
Nice.
what came to mind was all like 80s songs.
Really?
For whatever reason, country songs. I'm a giant country fan, but my mind immediately went to when you said happy songs, or I think you said feel good songs.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that picks you up. So Jesse's Girl, I'll go with 3. Number 2, I'm gonna say, have you ever heard of Your Love by The Outfield? I think. I don't wanna use your love.
Yes.
Tonight.
Yes.
Like the first minute of that song or something kind of always gets me going. So I'll put that at 2, and then number 1, it just came to me, and I feel like I have to put it at number 1 now, especially with the season right around the corner. Here we go again. Always gets me in a good mood. Always.
Yes.
I love it.
All right. So Justin had Weird Al, Dare to Be Stupid, Johnny Cash, Boy Named Sue, and Bloodhound Gang, Bad Touch.
God bless.
Hold on. There's more. Maybe. All right. Well, I guess not. All right, Brian. Well, that is our show for tonight. Make sure you tune in next Tuesday as we get into our Fantasy Football League. Also, do not forget $21 adoptions. Come on, let's empty out that kennel. Come on. Also, 29th, catch us live at Gino's Bar and Grill. And do not forget, October 22nd, join us as we support Cleveland, our City Dogs of Cleveland, October 22nd at Melt Bar and Grill at Independence, as we are doing a pregame show and watch party there at Melt for City Dogs of Cleveland. It is also a dine to donate. So please, please, please join us. Let's have a good time. Brian, on that note, why don't you God bless everybody?
Yep. God bless you. God bless America.
All right. I want to thank our troops and first responders for everything you guys do. Brian, thank you, brother. And on that note, we are definitely uncorked, unloading. We're out. Say it.